Okay, let's dive in. We're looking at this really intriguing verse today. Ecclesiastes 3.11. God has made everything beautiful in its time. He has put eternity into man's mind yet, so that man cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end.
Right. Straight away, there's this tension, isn't there?
Absolutely. Beauty, but also this profound limit on our understanding. It feels like a contradiction.
It does, that inherent mystery. I think that's what makes it so compelling to explore. You know, this perfect design, but we can't quite grasp the whole picture.
Exactly. And that's what this deep dive is all about for you, our listener. We're exploring this verse and the ideas around it, drawing from a Neville Goddard lecture called He Has Put Eternity into the Mind of Man.
Yeah, and whether you know Neville's work well or this is totally new, we're aiming to sort of unpack these complex ideas together.
Make it accessible, thought-provoking, hopefully without being overwhelming. Maybe find some surprising insights along the way.
So the big questions really are, what's this eternity in our minds? Why the mystery? Why can't we see the beginning and the end?
And what does it all mean for us?
Yeah,
For how we see ourselves, how we see reality?
definitely.
So let's start with the verse itself. Neville emphasizes something important right off the bat.
Which is?
That the writers of the Bible, they weren't primarily focused on like step-by-step rational arguments.
No, it was more about inspired visions, wasn't it? What they saw inwardly.
Exactly. And Ecclesiastes, with all that vanity of vanities, it certainly challenges our purely logical way of thinking sometimes.
And there's that figure, Koheleth, the author. There's a bit of mystery there, too.
Yeah, son of David, king in Jerusalem. But it doesn't neatly map onto a known historical king like Solomon in quite the way you might expect.
Right. And the text says to follow one shepherd, and that son of David title. It feels more symbolic, perhaps. Part of the vision itself, rather than just history.
Pointing towards something more mystical. Then you hit that line. God has made everything beautiful in its time.
And that can be tough to reconcile with experience, can't it?
Totally. You think about suffering, pain. Neville himself uses the example of a child born with severe deformities. How is that beautiful?
Well, Neville's take is that these aren't mistakes. They're seen as true stories, part of the larger tapestry. They're right in their time, but maybe that time frame, that context, is way bigger than our usual view.
A perspective that includes things we find difficult, seeing them as necessary parts of a whole.
Something like that. It suggests a viewpoint beyond just our immediate reaction to beauty or ugliness. Maybe cyclical, maybe just vast.
Okay, so to really get this, we have to tackle that word, eternity. Neville says understanding the original Hebrew, Olam, is crucial.
Ah, yes, Olam. It's not straightforward.
Not just endless time.
No, not at all. It's got this rich range of meanings. Yes, eternity, but also the world.
Okay.
And significantly, something hidden, concealed, out of sight, a secret.
Hidden. Okay, that's interesting.
And even, get this, a youth, a lad, a stripling, a young man.
A young man. How does that fit in?
Exactly. It's these layers that make it fascinating. Understanding Olam with all these shades is really the key. It's not just duration. It's a hidden realm, a potential within.
Right. And Neville connects this to the ancient Hebraic view of history.
Which wasn't linear like ours, necessarily.
No, he describes it more like all generations, all human experiences kind of fused together, compressed into one whole.
Like a massive block of time and experience all existing simultaneously?
Yeah, that's the idea. That is eternity, Olam. Like a giant archive in the mind containing every possible human story. Good, bad, everything.
You can see that reflected in the Bible itself, can't you? It doesn't sanitize human experience. It shows it all.
For sure. Neville quotes William Blake here, too.
Oh, yeah. What does Blake say?
Eternity exists, and all things in eternity, independent of creation, which was an act of mercy.
Wow. So all possibilities are just there in that eternal mind space.
That's the implication. And that leads to the whole nothing new under the sun idea in Ecclesiastes.
Because everything's just drawn from this pre-existing block of possibilities.
Seems to be the logic. You see the same patterns, the same stories playing out. Amassing wealth you leave behind, building things that decay, wisdom ending like foolishness. It can feel futile.
That vanity again.
But Neville stresses, don't stop there. He sees the New Testament as reinterpreting the Old, giving it a new, inspired meaning.
So it's not just pessimism for its own sake, it's setting the stage for something else.
Exactly. This block and the feeling of vanity, they're part of the human mental landscape, but there's more to the story. There's an unfolding revelation.
Which connects back to that other meaning of Olam, Something hidden?
Precisely. Neville links that hidden aspect to the Old Testament prophets. He suggests they were searching, inquiring about this grace that was to be yours, the listeners.
Trying to understand a future salvation.
Yeah, but they didn't fully get the timing or the exact nature of it. They knew they were serving something beyond their own time, a revelation yet to come.
So what was the hidden thing they were sensing?
According to Neville, the revelation of Christ within humanity.
Okay, Christ within.
He presents Jesus Christ as the personification of God, the Elohim, that plural sense of God, the divine collective.
Right, God's in creation.
And David as the personification of humanity, the beloved of God.
Okay, so Christ as God, David as humanity.
Now, here's the twist. Kohelet calls himself son of David. But in the New Testament, David calls Jesus Father or Lord.
That does seem contradictory.
Neville's explanation is that Christ is initially hidden within humanity, David, and has to emerge from it.
Ah, so Christ is the Son of Man first.
But then, through spiritual maturity or revelation, that relationship reverses. Man recognizes the Christ within as the source, the Father.
That fits with other biblical themes, doesn't it? The younger son being chosen, the last becoming first.
Exactly, that reversal motif.
Yeah.
And he connects it to that prophecy in 2 Samuel 7 about God bringing forth a son from David's body.
He shall be my son, and I his father.
Right. It culminates in Christ in you, the hope of glory, that inner potential.
Okay, so this isn't just abstract theology. It's meant to be deeply personal.
Very much so. Neville uses the David and Goliath story to illustrate this.
How so?
Remember, after David wins, King Saul asks, whose son is this youth?
Yeah, nobody seems sure at first.
Eventually, David answers, I am the son of your servant, Jesse the Bethlehemite.
Okay. Jesse.
And Neville points out the meaning of Jesse. It means I am, any form of the verb to be.
Whoa! So David, representing humanity, declares his source is I am.
That's the connection Neville makes. The core of our individual being, our I am consciousness, is the parent from which this Christ consciousness emerges. That eternity within is linked to this potential for the divine I am to awaken fully.
So the hidden thing, the Olam, is this potential Christ consciousness rooted in our own sense of being.
That seems to be the core idea.
Yeah.
And when that emerges, Neville says that's when the end comes.
But not the end of the physical world.
No, not a cosmic explosion. It's personal, an inner revelation, like explosion after explosion of understanding within you.
The hidden becoming known.
Exactly. The truth confronting you from within.
And this inner end is tied to grace.
Yes. Grace, defined as God's totally unmerited gift of himself. It's not earned. It's bestowed.
You find hints of that in the Old Testament too, right?
Neville points to Zechariah when the temple is finished, the shouts of grace, grace to it. He sees that temple as symbolizing humanity, and the completion is Christ being brought forth.
Okay, Christ emerging from the temple of humanity.
And it happens individually, not some mass event. The recognition happens when David, that collective human aspect, appears inwardly and calls the individual Father, Adonai. Right. Neville describes seeing David first as this single, timeless youth. But then as understanding deepens, David expands, becoming this vast multitude, all nations, collective humanity.
Wow. So David represents all of us.
In our totality, yes. And Jesus Christ is the personification of the Elohim, the divine collective.
Which includes us in our original state.
That's the profound implication. Are we the Elohim who fell asleep, who entered this human experience?
That's a huge question.
It is. And Neville talks about experiencing this block of eternity directly, in vision. See all possibilities contained within.
Everything in Scripture, all potential experiences.
All there, and accessible through imagination. But he warns you could get lost in it if you don't understand the process.
Right. It needs structure, maybe.
He references Ecclesiastes 4.15 about a second youth who rises up.
The Olam as a youth again?
Exactly. The second youth, Christ within, is seen as animating the whole fragmented block, our current reality, giving life to specific parts of that eternal library.
So our experience is sort of activated by this inner Christ.
That's the idea. Animated from within by this second youth. But then paradoxically, he also talks about the power to stop it.
Stop the animation.
Yeah, to experience a moment where a part of your perceived reality just freezes. Everything stops.
What would that feel like?
Profound stillness, apparently.
Yeah.
He suggests this kind of direct experience bypasses intellectual belief and becomes knowing, real faith.
And the purpose of all this?
To gain life in yourself, To realize the animation isn't external, ultimately. It comes from you, from your awakening consciousness.
Okay, so even if things feel animated from without initially,
We still have choice. We can select states within that block. Health, success, peace. Whatever we choose to embody.
like Blake's idea of and wicked being states of sleep.
Exactly. They're states the soul can fall into. And all these states are personified within us. We can choose which ones to activate, which ones to wear.
So this connects back to that reversal. Christ, the second youth, comes out of David, humanity. But then David, humanity, recognizes Christ as the source, the Father.
Yes. The last becomes first. Like Jacob over Esau, Isaac over Ishmael, that pattern again.
And Tenet Samuel 7 true lol, the son from the body.
Leading to that father-son relationship, but reverse from our usual perspective. In John 10:30, I and my Father are one, God bringing himself out of humanity.
It's like a divine self-impregnation almost, a plan unfolding out of love.
A predetermined spiritual birth. Not something earned, but given. Which makes sense of the New Testament opening, the genealogy of Jesus Christ, son of David.
The prophecy starting to unfold.
But the final act is humanity recognizing God as Father. And God's not surprised by any of it.
Because from God's perspective, it's all already complete.
That's the idea. Beginning and end are one for the divine awareness. Revelation's Alpha and Omega.
So the epistle is urging hope on the grace to come.
Paul, Peter, they're pointing to this inner revelation of Jesus Christ. God unveiling himself in you as you.
That's a radically different hope than Koheleth's view of earthly vanity.
Totally. And Neville says, okay, how do you use this practically?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
Choose your desired state, success, health, whatever, and assume you already are that. Feel it as natural.
Wear the state.
Exactly. Just as God wears man, you wear the state. Time is just the medium for it to appear, to harden into fact.
Like Habakkuk's vision having its appointed hour.
Right. It ripens. It won't fail if you maintain the assumption. Spiritual birth, like physical, has its own timing, its own power. We just select the state and wear it.
Which explains maybe why the prophets were confused about timing.
They were often looking for an external coming, perhaps, not realizing the resurrection, the coming, was happening within.
Okay. So does this mean earthly life, success, possessions, they don't matter at all?
Not necessarily. Neville suggests enjoying them, pursuing the best you can imagine. He loved his library, right? Koheleth's regret came from not seeing the end game, the bigger purpose. But with this understanding, you can engage fully, knowing it's part of the journey.
And that ability to arrest motion, that's a sign of the second youth, Christ, gaining control within.
That's how Neville presents it, a sign that you, the listener, are fundamentally the father of collective humanity, and Christ is being born from you.
Okay, so what about recurrence? Are we doomed to repeat the same lives?
He clarifies that. It's not necessarily repeating the exact same circumstances. Your individual identity, your core I am, is never lost.
We just move through different states.
Yeah, like moving from California to Chicago, he says.
Yeah.
You're still you, but your state, your environment changes. The real transformation is that inner birth, not just changing earthly scenes.
And the animated from without idea.
He uses Jesus before Pilate. Pilate thinks he has power, but Jesus says it comes from above. We're part of this larger animated flow.
But still free to choose our inner state within it.
Right. We can always change the state we occupy.
What about after? After physical death?
Neville is quite clear. The world you go to is just as real, just as solid as this one.
Consciousness doesn't just vanish or radically transform.
No. People continue there, dreaming their dreams. Much like here. He implies this world might also be a kind of dream, just a very vivid, consistent one.
So the whole point of this Earth experience?
It's to wear it, go through it, and emerge expanded. More luminous, more aware.
Like growing into a greater self?
Exactly. He even hints there might be a fifth act beyond this, for even greater expansion. It's all about growth, revelation.
So bringing it all together, eternity isn't out there somewhere.
No, it's in you. Hidden for a time, maybe, but present. And the ultimate point is Christ emerging from within you, you recognizing your own divine nature.
That's the core message, the hidden becoming known within.
So here's the thought to leave you with, listener. If all these possibilities, this entire block of eternity, exists within your own consciousness, what state will you choose to wear now, knowing this? What does it mean to be the father of your own experience?
That's definitely something to ponder. This dive is really just scratching the surface, isn't it? Lots to reflect on.
Absolutely. Plenty to think about.
Yeah.
Until next time.